Hey, it's me. I haven't seen you in like 10 to 12 days, but realistically, I haven't recorded in like 3 weeks or so. I moved into a new house. If you can see, this is not the same setup. I know I don't use my webcam very often for any types of recordings. Why am I standing? Honestly, I felt like it. I don't really feel good. We got a sickness going around the house. The kiddo don't feel good, so I just feel like standing because why not? I have no idea how this sounds. This is actually the first time I am recording since being in the new home, so I have no idea if like you're gonna be able to hear the air vent, the ceiling fan, how this even is gonna sound. So I might record all this and it just sound like crap. But let's talk Dead by Daylight now that's all out of the way. Bought a new home, been super busy, haven't recorded in like 3 weeks. That's pretty much the gist of it. And the last thing you saw was the Myers showcase video for jewelry box, I believe is the last thing you saw. Dead by Daylight has been terrible lately. I personally did not get my hands on the new PTB 9.3.0 if I'm not mistaken. But dude, I didn't need my hands on it to look at all the changes they're putting on and it be bad is a good way to put it. And I will show kind of what the last month of DBD has been for me. Now, to be fair, because I haven't been recording, and that's usually when I do most of my playtime for DBD, I didn't get to record a lot. Obviously, been moving, been buying a home. That whole process, dude, if you are buying a home or planning on it, get ready, dude, because it is a interesting fiasco. I will say that. But the screenshot I'm showing you is showing you how much I played Survivor and Killer. I don't know the last time I haven't got to at least gold for Killer, and then usually I get nothing for Survivor, but I don't play Survivor. I actually crept up, and I'm pointing down because it's on there. I actually crept up pretty close to my Killer grade for Survivor. Because I was just playing Survivor way more because Killer's been miserable, man. I know I made that video on, you know, DVD's miserable, whatever. And then I tried to make a positive video on that, kind of spin it, and that did not do numbers like the other one. People like to be positive, or negative, I should say. I get it. But DVD's tough, man. And this PTB that I did not get my hands on, but just, I mean, immediately looking at it, you could tell that it's garbage. I think the biggest thing is whenever we went from like that developer stream, but it was like a more relaxed environment, I thought that was a great idea. I think that not having this whole production thing and just being able to chat one-on-one, you know, quote unquote, it felt like a cozy conversation almost. I really enjoyed the, like, not necessarily the data points because we all know data and behavior do not mix, but like the presentation. What is it called? You did them in college, whatever they're called. I'm freaking blanking, but you know, it goes from exhibit A to exhibit B to exhibit B. This is what it is. Next slide. I don't know why but I like that. I liked the coziness of it and more of a presentation of what they're going for. Do I think they got it completely wrong? Absolutely, but I did like the idea. And I know I've been kind of rambling right now. I haven't spoken to a microphone in 3 weeks, dude. I'm completely out of it. You know what I mean? But that PTB is bad. So we'll put all the way outside. I think whenever they were talking about kind of what was coming to the PTB, the T for PTB stands for testing.
PTB, the T stands for testing.
God, dude, what an absolute joke, nightmare. I mean, real quick, before I get out of it, because I don't have the stream pulled up, but I wanted to speak on a few things. One of those being the test. Like I said, I did not look at any of these at all, or have my own hands on them, got to look at them, got to look at gameplay. I could have told you without testing on the PTB that these were going to be garbage, dude. Absolute garbanzo bean changes. Before we get there, let's hop into the favorite maps. Now I know I'm way behind, but the top 5 enjoyed maps. I'll make sure to put everything on screen for you so you can see. I got to kind of, you know, pull it up a little bit here and there because we all know these are ramble videos. Not very good at talking on a script because I can't read very well. But from 1 to 5, we had Dead Dog, Mount Ormond, RPD East Wing, Freddy Fazbear's map, and RPD West Wing. What do you see the most in common with all those? Because I'll go ahead and break it for you. They're all Survivor-sided. And the reason why this matters a bunch is because the survey that they put out, like I said, I know I'm way behind. I've been wanting to talk about this, have not been able to talk about this. Hopefully I'm close enough to my mic you can actually hear me. The survey they put out was extremely Survivor-sided. It's unbelievable. They stated essentially that the reason why people quit and everything is because of killers tunneling and slugging, but they didn't give any reasoning to why killers were potentially leaving or quitting the game or uninstalling. And so they used that as the reasoning and like their main data point for a lot of these changes. And then they gave us so the reason why I'm saying that specifically is the feedbacks were killer or Survivor sided. What do you think's gonna be the favorite maps? There's more killer or Survivor players than killer players. The only one I would agree with, which is actually a fun map depending on the killer you're playing, is Fazbear's Pizza. Not a FNA fan in the slightest. I don't never play the game, don't watch the movies or comics or whatever there is of it. But Mount Ormond It's hit or miss, depending on killer. Dead Dog is one of the worst maps in the game. I'm not talking about killer power versus survivor power. No map should be designed around unbreakable walls. Period. Dead Dog is absolutely brutal, dude. That's why you gotta bring brutal strength. You never know. That was voted #1. That's insane to me. Okay, so this is like the map that came out with the unknown. Don't ever play main building generator. You're probably gonna win. That's not a joke. That is literally not a joke. Dead Dog, why would I ever play a generator that safe? Ever. There's nothing I can do. I gotta break 2 walls, one by the window, second by the window. You have a third in that room over there if you want to kick it, in theory. No sense, dude. I just had to put that up there. I had to... RPD? Both sides? Dude, you're tripping balls, man. RPDs are not good maps. No. I strongly disagree. If you can't... It's bad, dude. Bad. Oh, yeah, real quick. Skull Merchant is not getting her drone attack thing. They just, like, buffed her a little bit and said, you know, we've been waiting for, like, a year or two. This is good to go. But if you tell us it's good to go, they were like, we're going to ship these out, and then if it's not good enough, then we'll change it. I guess because the manpower is not there to make the assumed or wanted changes to the Skull Merchant or something. I don't know, man. Bunch of excuses. Crap data points. These are not the most enjoyed maps. I can promise you that. I feel like the thing, real quick before we go next, if we're going to pull data points, we need to pull as killer and survivor. 2 different roles, doing 2 different things in the exact same game. I promise you there's not a killer that likes Dead Dog. I promise you most killers, unless you're like trying to play a Ghostface maybe, or, you know, no, I'm just going to stick with Ghostface, like RPD. RPD sucks, man. And with the whole map rotation right now, with you getting it all the time, blows. Next up, they're talking about the key data points for tunneling. Tunneling better in high armor, MMR, holy, little stroke there. And tunneling is less apparent in low MMR. Who would have thought? The killers that know how to play the game realize that tunneling is probably your best bet. The players that don't know probably gonna face camp because they don't know any better. Don't face camp. Proxy camp is pretty much dead because it's been pushed to 20 meters at that point, so it's kind of whatever. And then you have your tunneling. But they say that tunneling, they don't have an exact reason. And the thing about it is their third reason, they couldn't remember, man. I keep looking at my computer. I should be talking to you. I don't even know how long this video is going to go. I'm just going to ramble. And if you watch it, awesome. If not, you don't have a choice. You better watch it. And they say Treatment Theater has a 44%, while Gas Haven's 39%. I don't know where they're exactly getting these, to be honest, but we'll just allow it. The big one for the slugging, that is going to be a big one for the map, but we'll wait till we get there. Real quick, for the anti-tunnel, by the way, I know we were on the points, and they pretty much said, like, if you hook back to back, or I can't find the other one, it's on there somewhere, but there's a difference between there we go. Hard tunneling and soft tunneling, okay? Sometimes after you hook a survivor and a minute goes by and you're running around the map just trying to find anybody to have an interactive game, you find that same survivor. It is what it is. That should not be considered tunneling. They consider it tunneling. Hard tunneling right off hook, I get it, but the changes are weird. So for the unhook protections, they get 10% haste, okay. Endurance, okay. Elusive, that's the effect. No aura. Pools of blood, scratch marks, grunts of pain, sick. Make no noise, cool. No AFK points, whatever. You see the killer's aura within 32 meters. Interesting. Don't love it. Oh, by the way, how they were saying that because there was no collision in the PTB, you could use that aggressively, and they were worried about that. They added collision so you couldn't use it aggressively. And if you use your brain for 4 seconds, maybe 6, depending on some of you, you can realize that if you can have 10% haste off hook, endurance, you see the killer's aura within 32 meters, and you have collision, how do you expect that not to be used aggressively? And I made sure to look through some PTB because like I said, this has been a long time coming. Everybody's talking about it, but I want to talk about it now. It was used aggressively. Who would have thought? More aggressively than if you didn't have collision. Who would have thought? Their brain dead changes. Behavior's tone deaf, dude. They're deaf and dumb, to be honest. I don't know. I don't want to be called dumb, but I might be called dumb if I was doing bad at my real job. You know what I mean? These are dumb changes. And so survivors get all this sick stuff, right? So what do killers get? Get out of your chair, stupid chair. We get Bloodlust for 15 seconds. That only lasts until you get in a chase or break a pallet or use your power. You're trying to buff M1 killers. You don't want to give the Bloodlust, added if it was haste to killer powers, like let's say Kaneki, for example. I get it, but it breaks immediately right as you get into a chase or break a pallet. Okay. Oh, by the way, you get more off first hooks now and a 10% blood point multiplier. Sick. You know what would fix this? Part of it. Add the BP bonus back to barbecue and chili. Who would have thought? If you're adding blood point incentives into the base game, God, I hope these don't go live. Put it back into barbecue and chili, man. I don't see the point of why not to be honest, behavior. You know what to do. Make it happen. Barbecue and chili stocks way up. 3 other perks, 2 can be a gen regression. The other one could be brutal because you're dumb. Put pallet density into the map to effectively nerf high tier killers, and in the event, murdered M1 killers. So this comes back to, with the PTB, I'm gonna switch hands here because I like talking with my right hand while I hold the mic in the left. I think you might be right, left, different than mine. I'm yapping. In the PTB before this, with the Krasu coming out, we were given base kit pop, 20% if I'm not mistaken, aura read, other things. But those are the 2 big things, dude. Massive. They were worried about holding the hands of the killers because you were told what to do next. If you're giving this to survivors, what do you think we're being told to do next? Like, oh, pallets right here, they have 10% haste, they have endurance, they can see our aura through wall, they just got off hook, I just downed this person. Well, man, I hope I don't slug since you're, punish me for slugging so dang hard. Oh, here he comes, boom, pallet drop, ooh, flashbang, ooh, flashlight. Like, what do you want from us, behavior as killer mains? No sense. They made sure to add Bloodlust for the killer bonus, so, haste and such couldn't be stacked, understandable. And then they punch Furtive Chase in the face. A perk that's not meta, but is fun to use. When they want variety in their game, they're making changes to make it less of a variety. I understand you want to cater to newer players. I get it. But you can't leave seasoned veterans, that's a good thing to say, seasoned veterans, left behind. You cannot do that. And it just seems like they were worried. Sorry, I haven't talked for this long and so long. It feels like they don't want to hold hands for the killers, so they revert everything they did and just give you Bloodlust because, screw you as a killer main. And then they go and hold hands for survivors. No sense. I'm only on anti-tunnel, okay? Anti-slug, they get up, man. Hopefully you don't get put in a spot to where you have to slug somebody. It does take a while now. It's 120 seconds. Sick. I don't love that they can they still crawl and recover? There we go. I don't even know, man. There was so much into this. I'm not on that. I'm still looking at killer bonuses. This is killer bonuses behavior. Bloodlust for 15 seconds that deactivates on 3 different things. I don't get it. Makes no sense. Absolute garbage. Anti-slug, I think they're all good changes in theory. I think at some point into the game, if there's, let's say in theory, 2 gens left, it gets deactivated. Does behavior know how to code that because of this game? DBD2 would fix that? I don't think they're able to. I think there's some things that we truly are limited to because of DBD and the fact it wasn't supposed to be this successful, and now it is, and the only way that would get better is DBD2. I'll stay on that forever. For the game, and for slugging in general, anti-slug, all that fun stuff. Overall, killers across all MMR tend to slug for about 30 seconds. Makes sense. Sometimes you just have to, Sometimes you just have to. Overall, high MMR survivors spend less time in the dying state at 26 seconds. Well, why is that? High MMR might have SWF, might know what to actually do against a slugging killer. That's all I really got for that. I thought I had more, to be honest. But the reason why we're here is because right here, it says the game. 31 seconds is the highest slug. Don't care about the minimum or the lowest one. I'm not here to show that. The game. And you want to know how tone deaf behavior are to their own game? He was pretty much like, I can't wrap my head around why the game. The chat, including you watching this, probably immediately say, well, there's a arse load of pallets.
He's yelling pallets.
Pallets for the game?
Yeah, they're just shouting the word pallets. That's
I'm glad that they like
you'd
pallets,
like to know that.
That's cool.
So it makes sense. Sometimes you gotta slug, man. Sometimes you gotta slug on the game because there's so many pallets on there that wasn't even hit by pallet density. You have to slug, man. I bet within the next 6 months, I would not be surprised if it goes up more, even with the anti-slug changes. Per survivor, not if you have like 3 at a time because of the multiplier and everything. The reason why it's tone deaf is he says that, and when I was watching the stream initially, because this was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago at this point, I was like, okay, well, it's because of pallets. Like, duh, like immediately. Like anybody that plays DBD probably already knew immediately, like, oh, it's because of pallets. Obviously, that makes complete sense. Couldn't wrap his brain around it. And then the Eric, I believe is his name, he says the chat screaming pallets. We all understand that. Bald guy, don't remember his name. I like his glasses, whatever. He says, well, I'm glad they love pallets. This is not what we're saying, man. Tone deaf. They don't get it. You should know immediately by your own game or why people are slugging more on the game. It is as simple as, you guessed it, pallets. The pallet densities, god pallets, everything in between that comes with the game, it being 2 levels as well. There are so many things, but the main thing is the pallets. You have to slug on that map sometimes. And they didn't understand it. And that fired me up, man. Just seeing the game, immediately thinking that. They could not understand it. T is in testing. Dude, absolutely unbelievable, dude. It was infuriating to listen to. I promise I'm over the whole palette, the game thing. Just frustrating, man. Goes into the anti-camp. What are we doing to anti-camp? Well, we push back the meterage. I always say meterage because I feel like as long as it makes one person upset that I say meterage instead of meters, I've done my job. But it's now down, it's to 20 meters. And I don't like that. And I'm going to show you something real quick. First off, before we get really into the face camp, I just want to show this because it was in the face camp portion of this 6 stream. Did like the vibe, hated the outcome. What are we looking at? Or why are we looking at this? Like I said, this is why I don't script. I can't read. Phase camping, slugging, tunneling have been a major factor in players uninstalling the game. That alone is complete BS. If you go to the survey, it's pretty much the only answers it realistically gives you that, major factors. No killer reasons, no other reasons, that's pretty much the answers. Like they pretty much, what it felt like with the survey is they pretty much wanted you to answer those and they could be like, we got them, guys. We freaking got them, guys. Just wanted to show that. Let's get into the face camp now. Sorry for the gunshots. Before we get into the face camp, anti-face camp, whatever, I just want to talk about one thing and one thing only. Well, we already talked about furtive chase. Sick. Someone family phone got changed. All right. Pinhead got changed because of the tunneling reasons, but you can't hit a survivor with the box with original pain. Not a fan. Kind of sucks. Or is actually it's changed in general, if I'm not mistaken, because of the endurance. So if a survivor's endurance, you're screwed as Pinhead. You're a true M1 killer, no extra power. Talk about BS, dude. Styptics got changed. Syringes got changed. You immediately think HAZAHHH, right? Like the passive ability to be able to do a gen while being healed by nobody else. If you and another survivor have to double the gen and you need to be healed to get down to 1 gen, whatever the situation is, they changed syringes. They're pretty much like, we understand why syringes are used. Very good. Today, before I started recording this, I, as a Freddy, using a build I've never used before, using paint thinner, the add-on I've never used before, went against a 3-man syringe squad. The 4th could have been a part of it, but he had a flashlight, so, sometimes you just don't know. Shoot or shoot, you know what I mean? And the syringe change they made, you might think anything's better, right? They changed it. Man, I am just yapping right now, dude. Holy. They changed it to where you can get double exhaustion in a chase. Double exhaustion in a chase, man. I mean, we don't have to be savant. Like, which one would you rather have? Let me know down below. Would you rather have double exhaustion in chase? So you, or me as a Freddy, let's just say, double sprint bursted, double life, double freaking, I don't know, dramaturgy, whatever, dude. And then, or would you rather have the original syringes? It's kind of tough, but I would say original syringe. Is annoying as they're, to go against, when they're used properly, I should say, because when people try to pop chase after, 6 or 8 seconds with Styptic, you realize they're not healed. Well, it's a syringe, so let's heal them, or let's hit them. A lot of times you can outplay that, but whenever they're used passively, that's whenever they are best. But in your face, just a survivor being like, oh, here's my sprint burst. Good luck, buddy. And then, like, you get real close, pop the syringe. Oh, here's my sprint burst again, dude. Deuces, dog. That is the worst feeling in the world. Killers are being just spit in the face, to be honest. Like, I get it. 4 survivors versus 1 killer. Survivors probably have a more, higher population. Makes sense. You need 4 of them to make a lobby. You only need 1 killer to make a lobby. But without killers, you don't have survivors. So why are we just pumping all of these survivor changes when it just makes no sense? I just wanted to touch on that real quick because double exhaustion, dude, in chase, that's defeating as heck, man. There can't be a worse feeling than that. There can't be. That is tough, dude. Also, like breakdown got changed. I'm interested to see that, to say the least. They had the whole, what was it, Wicked and finesse or wicked and whatever combo. I can't think of it right off rip because I didn't have it written down. And if you were hooked in the basement, you unhook yourself to full health. And these are more tone deaf changes that Behavior constantly implement into their game because they don't know what they're doing. It's all based off data. Their data, like I just told you, is skewed because they're only asking certain things. You're only able to get so many maps out of the map pool because there's 44 in rotation right now. They said you could pick 5, I think, so it makes sense why there were so many. Again, you need a killer survey, survivor survey. Split them apart, show them together. Does that make sense? And yeah, it's tough. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the face camp. I'm just yapping, dude. It feels good to talk. Let's go ahead and get into the face camp. How about that? Okay. I touched on some of that other face camp stuff. I honestly forgot to touch on other stuff, so then I had to go back to that stuff and then come to the face camp stuff. So I have no idea how this is going to mesh together. We're back to face camp. All right. Highest, RCPD, West Wing. Lowest, Wretched Shop. Why do you think that is? Well, across all MMRs, one's a 2-story building. Makes sense. You're going to be accidentally close to the hook. Wretched Shop. Hooks are relatively spread out. Just kind of checks out. Now, face camping. Look at the low MMR, man. Hey. Hey, brand new Bubba's, what are we doing, baby? We had 3.1%, middles at 1.3, high MMRs at 0.9. Why is that? Because face camp makes no sense to do. You want a proxy camp, it just makes sense. I'm not going to tell you really much on that. Proxy camp, but they're kind of killing proxy camping. So they gave the resolve bar when being camp visible to survivors. Great change, believe it. I do. The value faster based on how long the killer remains in proximity. Awesome. Decrease the fill rate of the anti-camp meter by 50%. So it multiplies. So it makes sense why you change that. Awesome. But they increased it to 20 meters. And I'm going to tell you this right now, Behavior. 20 meters is not face camping. 20 meters is proxy camping. So if we want to deal with proxy camping, why are we making the anti-face camp mechanic bigger? It's not a big gripe. I don't know if I really saw anybody talk about it. It's only 4 meters. I get it, but the face camp meters should be 16 meters. Keep it there. It should not be any bigger. Proxy camping sometime is your best strategy. Oh, well, Survivor or Behavior don't want to hold your hand, but they're going to cap you in any way of playing other than the way they want you to play so survivors can have a better experience. That's deaf and dumb. Deaf and freaking dumb, man. Something I wanted to touch on. The 20 meters really bugged me because proxy camping, you have to do sometimes. Tunneling, you have to do sometimes. Soft tunneling, sometimes it just happens. Slugging, it just happens, man. And they want to get rid of the extreme cases. And I think they're deaf and dumb to the things that actually make them severe. And it's pretty gross. By the way, they added scratch marks colors. Massive dub. You know, I'm glad with all these bugs and issues in the game and constant horrible releases, having a life update for your life chapter update, whatever it is, for, 4 or 5 months ago, or whatever it was at this point, constantly have to pump out new like health updates for your health operation is what it was called. Horrible, dude. Absolutely garbage. We got scratch mark colors, baby. Hopefully auras are next. That's the big thing. Oh, yeah, they said Trickster's getting an update. I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest. He throws knives, man. If they're going to overhaul him, why are we not overhauling Skull Merchant first? That's it for that one. And I think that's really the end of my rant. I don't think I have anything else really to say. I don't even know if I even made a good point or had anything to say. I just think that Behavior is tone deaf, borderline dumb. Company, not people. Don't call people dumb. Call companies dumb because they're a collective. I don't know, man. Tease and testing, which is, they acted like we as players don't know, not necessarily that's what's best for the game, because a survivor main versus killer main will think 2 different things are better for the game. Some people are subjective, some people are objective. I think that's correct. But the fact they thought we were dumb enough to buy this whole tease and testing. Test it. You put all those changes out before the PTB. I mean, we were worried whenever we saw this thing. I don't even remember the difference of PTB to this thing, but we were worried, dude. It didn't take long. They didn't want to hold hands. Well, they're holding hands for the survivors. Killers, piss off. You didn't want to use the endurance collision or non-collision aggressive, so we gave collision. Well, who would have thought they would have used it aggressively? Sucks to suck, man. You can't even catch up to that guy. He has 10% haste. Good luck, buddy. And I think the overarching theme, that's how we'll say it. Also, I do kind of like doing these videos standing up. I'm going to be honest. Should I do this more often? Let me know. Man, it's just Behavior is just dumb. I think that's a big thing. I think they think we're dumb. Like, we don't know what we're talking about when we're playing the game, that they clearly have no other experience in other than collecting data, which the data isn't correct. It's garbage. It's garbage. Now, I don't want to say it's correct. I think it's skewed to the way they probably wanted it to be skewed. Rigging an election? Never heard of it. I don't know. That might hit. I don't know. But I just think, like, closing thoughts, it's just bad, man. And I haven't seen anything about how they're not rolling out these changes. I don't know if, this is, what's today? The 15th? I don't know let's see, 16, 17. On the 18th, is that release day for this PTB to go live? If it is, man, killers, we are SOL, buddy. Because this is like, this year has been a collective crap. I feel like it really started with the Walking Dead chapter. Kursu was tough. Pushing back content to work on your health was great. We were all skeptical about behavior pulling it off. Go figure. They did not pull it off in the slightest. We had Freddy though, or not Freddy. Pardon me. We had FNAF, which was great for the game. And it's not like this game's dying, but this game is going in a direction where veterans aren't getting anything out of it, and new players are being just like, here's your W. Here. I have never been good at Survivor, never been good at looping, never been good at chases for gens, or, that's pretty much it as Survivor. That's why I don't really like playing it. It's not that fun. I'm escaping at an alarming rate. I'm able to chase or run killers. I'm so used to say survivors. Running killers at an alarming rate. Why? Pallet density? I mean, the perks are just unbelievable. Give me Conviction Unbreakable. Good luck. Actually, I've been playing a lot against Myers lately, and because of that, with the brutal strength meta that you're running with Myers plus the faster kick in EI, it's pretty tough, man. It's got to be careful with that combo. But the fact me, Mr. J-Dub, Eagles fan, go Birds, is able to escape and play as good as I've been playing as Survivor shows you that it's not because my skill's better. I'm not delusional. It is because the game is holding Survivors' hands more than ever, making it easier for Survivors more than ever. And I play solo queue, by the way. I'm no have friends Andy, you know what I mean? But it's just bad, man. I know these closing thoughts have been kind of all over the place. I never really have anywhere to end because I could ramble about it forever. I think the game's in a bad spot. Obviously, I think the game needs a chapter, to be honest. I think that's the worst thing, because we knew the Operation Health update was not going to work. Go figure, it didn't. What masks these horrible bugs, the horrible releases, the horrible changes? Chapters. What did they do wrong with the Kursu? They released a new chapter with this massive overhaul of DBD mechanics that can make or break the game. Why? You do one or the other. You do the chapter, then that, or you do that and then the chapter. It was only a PTP. Those changes didn't go live, but you can't do it at the same time when you have a brand new chapter coming out, dude. We all remember how big that release was. We obviously had Kursu. We had the anti-tunnel, anti-camp, anti-slug, and then what went under the radar? Pallet density. Pallet density went live. We're like, hey guys, there's a lot more pallets than usual on a lot of these maps. And we're like, wait, go back to check notes or patch notes, check notes. Oh, pallet density. Okay, well, let's see how this plays out. Oh, it's on Badham. Oh, it's on Ormond. Oh, it's on all the maps that probably didn't even need it. Frustrating, horrible, tone deaf and dumb by behavior. I think that's it. I could go on. I could keep going on. Let me know down below. What do you think? I know I'm very late, like I said. New home. I bought a house, dude. Pretty sick, Bought a house, doing all the dad and husband things. Family's going strong if you care. This might be the last time you see my face, or I might start doing these conversation videos like this more often because I really like this. I just like to ramble, to be honest. It feels good, feels nice. Leave a like, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know down below. What do you think? Have you come to terms with the changes? It's been a few weeks since they come out, or are you like, dude, we gotta freaking get rid of this, bro. This is horrible. I'm out of here. I hope to see you on the next one, whenever that is. We're still moving in and doing all that stuff, so might be scattered still, but you'll see me eventually. I'm out of here. Deuces.